Bible in a year, the Message version, January 13 or day 13. Genesis chapter 28, verse 1 through chapter 29, verse 35. So Isaac called in Jacob and blessed him. Then he ordered him, "Don't take a Canaanite wife. Leave at once. Go to Padan Aram, to the family of your mother's father, Bethuel. Get a wife for yourself from the daughters of your uncle Laban. And may the strong God bless you and give you many, many children, a congregation of peoples, and pass on the blessing of Abraham to you and your descendants, so that you will get this land in which you live, this land God gave Abraham." So Isaac sent Jacob off. He went to Padan Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Padan Aram to get a wife there, and while blessing him commanded, "Don't marry a Canaanite woman," and that Jacob had obeyed his parents and gone to Padan Aram. When Esau realized how deeply his father Isaac disliked the Canaanite women, he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the sister of Nebaioth and daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son. This was in addition to the wives he already had. Jacob left Beersheba and went to Haran. He came to a certain place and camped for the night, since the sun had set. He took one of the stones there, set it under his head, and lay down to sleep. And he dreamed. A stairway was set on the ground, and it reached all the way to the sky. Angels of God were going up and going down on it. Then God was right before him, saying, "I am God, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. I'm giving the ground on which you are sleeping to you and your descendants. Your descendants will be as the dust of the earth. They'll stretch from west to east and from north to south. All the families of the earth will bless themselves in you and your descendants. Yes, I'll stay with you. I'll protect you wherever you go, and I'll bring you back to this very ground. I'll stick with you until I've done everything I promised you." Jacob woke up from his sleep, and he said, "God is in this place, truly. I didn't even know it." He was terrified. He whispered in awe, "Incredible, wonderful, holy. This is God's house. This is the gate of heaven." Jacob was up first thing in the morning. He took the stone he had used for his pillow and stood it up as a memorial pillar and poured oil over it. He christened the place Bethel, God's house. The name of the town had been Luz until then. Jacob vowed a vow. "If God stands by me and protects me on this journey on which I'm setting out, keeps me in food and clothing, and brings me back in one piece to my father's house, this God will be my God. This stone that I have set up as a memorial pillar will mark this as a place where God lives, and everything you give me, I'll return a tenth to you." Jacob set out again on his way to the people of the east. He noticed a well out in an open field, with 3 flocks of sheep bedded down around it. This was the common well from which the flocks were watered. The stone over the mouth of the well was huge. When all the flocks were gathered, the shepherds would roll the stone from the well and water the sheep. Then they would return the stone, covering the well. Jacob said, "Hello, friends. Where are you from?" They said, "We're from Haran." Jacob answered, "Do you know Laban, son of Nahor?" "We do." "Are things well with him?" Jacob continued. "Very well," they said. "And here is his daughter, Rachel, coming with the flock." Jacob said, "There's a lot of daylight still left. It isn't time to round up the sheep yet, is it? So why not water the flocks and go back to grazing?" "We can't," they said. "Not until all the shepherds get here. It takes all of us to roll the stone from the well. Not until then can we water the flocks." While Jacob was in conversation with them, Rachel came up with her father's sheep. She was the shepherd. The moment Jacob spotted Rachel, daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, saw her arriving with his uncle Laban's sheep, he went and single-handedly rolled the stone from the mouth of the well and watered the sheep of his uncle Laban. Then he kissed Rachel and broke into tears. He told Rachel that he was related to her father and that he was Rebekah's son. She ran and told her father. When Laban heard the news, Jacob, his sister's son, he ran out to meet him, embraced and kissed him, and brought him home. Jacob told Laban the story of everything that had happened. Laban said, "Your family, my flesh and blood." When Jacob had been with him for a month, Laban said, "Just because you're my nephew, you shouldn't work for me for nothing. Tell me what you want to be paid. What's a fair wage?" Now, Laban had 2 daughters. Leah was the older, and Rachel the younger. Leah had nice eyes, but Rachel was stunningly beautiful, and it was Rachel that Jacob loved. So Jacob answered, "I'll work for you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel." "It is far better," said Laban, "that I give her to you than to marry her to some outsider. Yes, stay here with me." So Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, but it only seemed like a few days. He loved her so much. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife. I've completed what we agreed I'd do. I'm ready to consummate my marriage." Laban invited everyone around and threw a big feast. At evening, though, he got his daughter Leah and brought her to the marriage bed, and Jacob slept with her. Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah as her maid. Morning came. There was Leah in the marriage bed. Jacob confronted Laban. "What have you done to me? Didn't I work all this time for the hand of Rachel? Why did you cheat me?" "We don't do it that way in our country," said Laban. "We don't marry off the younger daughter before the older. Enjoy your week of honeymoon, and then we'll give you the other one also. But it will cost you another 7 years of work." Jacob agreed. When he'd completed the honeymoon week, Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his maid Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her maid. Jacob then slept with her, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. He worked for Laban another 7 years. When God realized that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah became pregnant and had a son. She named him Reuben. "Look, it's a boy. This is a sign," she said, "that God has seen my misery, and a sign that now my husband will love me." She became pregnant again and had another son. "God heard," she said, "that I was unloved, and so he gave me this son also." She named this one Simeon. God heard. She became pregnant yet again, another son. She said, "Now maybe my husband will connect with me. I've given him 3 sons." That's why she named him Levi, connect. She became pregnant a final time and had a fourth son. She said, "This time I'll praise God." So she named him Judah, praise God. Then she stopped having children. Matthew chapter 9, verse 18 through verse 38. As he, Jesus, finished saying this, a local official appeared, bowed politely, and said, "My daughter has just now died. If you come and touch her, she will live." Jesus got up and went with him. His disciples followed along. Just then, a woman who had hemorrhaged for 12 years slipped in from behind and lightly touched his robe. She was thinking to herself, "If I can just put a finger on his robe, I'll get well." Jesus turned, caught her at it. Then he reassured her, "Courage, daughter. You took a risk of faith, and now you're well." The woman was well from then on. By now they had arrived at the house of the town official and pushed their way through the gossips looking for a story and the neighbors bringing in consolers. Jesus was abrupt. "Clear out. This girl isn't dead. She's sleeping." They told him he didn't know what he was talking about. But when Jesus had gotten rid of the crowd, he went in, took the girl's hand, and pulled her to her feet, alive. The news was soon out and traveled throughout the region. As Jesus left the house, he was followed by two blind men crying out, "Mercy, Son of David, mercy on us." When Jesus got home, the blind men went in with him. Jesus said to them, "Do you really believe I can do this?" They said, "Why, yes, Master." He touched their eyes and said, "Become what you believe." It happened. They saw. Then Jesus became very stern. "Don't let a soul know how this happened." But they were hardly out the door before they started blabbing it to everyone they met. Right after that, as the blind men were leaving, a man who had been struck speechless by an evil spirit was brought to Jesus. As soon as Jesus threw the evil, tormenting spirit out, the man talked away, just as if he had been talking all his life. The people were up and on their feet applauding. "There's never been anything like this in Israel." The Pharisees were left sputtering. "Smoke and mirrors. It's nothing but smoke and mirrors. He's probably made a pact with the devil." Then Jesus made a circus of all the towns and villages, going to each. He taught in their meeting places, reported kingdom news, and healed their diseased bodies, healed their bruises and hurt lives. When he looked out over the crowds, his heart broke. So confused and aimless they were, like sheep with no shepherd. "What a huge harvest," he said to the disciples. "How few workers. On your knees and pray for harvest hands." Psalm chapter 11, verse 1 through verse 7, a David psalm. "I've already run for dear life, straight to the arms of God. So why would I run away now? When you say, 'Run to the mountains,' the evil bows are bent, the wicked arrows aim to shoot under cover of darkness at every heart open to God. The bottom's dropped out of the country. Good people don't have a chance. But God hasn't moved to the mountains. His holy address hasn't changed. He's in charge. As always, his eyes taking everything in, his eyelids unblinking, examining Adam's flesh and blood, inside and out, not missing a thing. He tests the good and the bad alike. If anyone cheats, God's outraged. Fail the test and you're out in a hail of firestones, drinking from a canteen filled with hot desert wind. God's business is putting things right. He loves getting the lines straight, setting us straight. Once we're standing tall, we can look him straight in the eye. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through verse 12. Trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. He's the one who will keep you on track. Don't assume that you know it all. Run to God. Run from evil. Your body will glow with health. Your very bones will vibrate with life. Honor God with everything you own. Give Him the first and the best. Your barns will burst. Your wine vats will brim over. But don't, dear friend, resent God's discipline. Don't sulk under His loving correction. It's the child He loves that God corrects. A father's delight is behind all of this. This was a daily reading of the Message version of the Bible, read to you by Bible in a Year.